सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधितमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। अथ सप्तन्न ब्राह्मण फ्रॉम बृहदारण्यक उपनिषद। जत् सप्तार्णानि मेधया तपसा जनयत्पितम् एकमस्य साधारणं द्वे देवानम् अभाजयतुं त्रीण्यात्मने कुरुतं पशुभ्य एकं प्रायच्छतुं तस्मिन् सर्वं प्रतिष्ठितं यच्च प्राणीति यच्चनं कस्मात्तानि न क्षीयन्ते द्यमानानि सर्वदं यो वैतामक्षिते वेद सोर्णमतिप्रतीकेन स देवानपि गच्छति स ऊर्जमुपजीवति। This mantra deals with the production of sevenfold food which sustains all life. It has been said in the previous section of the Upanishad that the multiple creation was projected and different social orders were organized by the Creator Himself. On what food does this projected creation exist? It's a fact that none can exist without a support for life. That very support is verily the food which maintains and sustains all his creation. It is through food that life exists here in this universe. Food is an essential factor for the accomplishment of all actions and affecting progeny. As soon as the child is born, it needs food for its sustenance. If, however, no food is supplied, it is certain to die. Because food maintains life in the body as well as in the entire universe, it holds a place of importance next to creation. Now, we must understand the nature of this food. Is it the grain that men and animals eat? Or is it the part by which the celestial beings are satisfied and maintained? Or is it the milk with which the life is at first nourished? Here we have to take into consideration everything, every type of food which supports life in its different phases. We know grain, the gross food, is the support for the gross physical body. Milk is the prime nourisher of all, men and animals, when they are babes. There are still subtler types of foodstuffs that support the life of subtler creations. These are in this Upanishad denoted by the term sacrifice and oblation. It is the common and popular view that gods are constituted of subtle elements, unlike the human beings and animals. They do not therefore need the gross food. They are satisfied by the subtler portions of the food offered to them in sacrifice. To make it more clear, we shall take the physical body and the sense organs. Though it is physical body that eats the food and digests and assimilates it, the senses are satisfied. If no food is supplied to the gross body, the senses begin to wither and eventually die. Just as by supplying water to the root of a tree, different parts of the tree receive the nourishment, in a like manner, by supplying gross food to the physical body, the sense organs receive their part of nourishment and live. The food is an essential requirement for all beings to live. So, now this Upanishad classifies them under 7 headings, which cover up the entire range of foods. The classification of sevenfold food is hereunder. First, the common food for all. Second and third for gods. Fourth for animals. And fifth, sixth, and seventh for Prajapati, the creator. The production of the sevenfold food, which was effected by the creator, will be dealt with elaborately in the following mantras, which may be said to be an explanation of this terse mantra. The universe which the ignorant man projects through ignorance, desire, and action as his object of enjoyment is here divided into sevenfold groups and given the epithet food because it is an object of experience. Man is therefore said to be the father of seven kinds of food. Om Jat Sapta Annani Medhaya Tapasa Janayat Pitam Iti Medhaya Hi Tapasa Janayat Pitam Ekamasya Sadharanam Iti Damevasya Tat Sadharanamannam Jadi Damadyatim Saya etat upaste na sa papnano vyavartate Saya etat upaste na sa papnano vyavartate Misrang etat Dve devana bhajayat iti hutam cha prahrutam cha Tasmaat देवेभ्यो जुह्वति च प्रच जुह्वति अतो आहुर्दर्श पूर्णमासावितिं तस्मान्नेष्ठियाजुकः स्यात् पशुभ्य एकं प्रायच्छतीति तत्पयः पयो एवाग्रे मनुष्याश्च पशवश्चोपजीवन्ति तस्मात् कुमारं जातं घृतं वैवाग्रे प्रतिलेहयन्ति स्तनं वानुदापयन्ति अथ वत्सं जातमाहुरतृणाद इति तस्मिन् सर्वप्रतिष्ठितं जच्च प्राणीति जच्च न इति पयसि हिदं सर्वं प्रतिष्ठितं जच्च प्राणीति जच्चनं तद्यदीदमाहुः संवत्सरं प्रयसा जुह्वदप पुनर्मृत्युं जयतीति न तथा विद्यात् जदहरेव जुहूति तदः पुनर्मृत्युर्मपजयत्पिबं विद्वान् सर्वं हि देवेभ्यो नाद्यं प्रयच्छति कस्मात् तानि न क्षीयन्ति द्यमानानि सर्वदा इति पुरुषो वा अक्षितिः स हिदमन्नं पुनः पुनर्जनयते यो वै वेतामक्षिति वेद इति पुरुषो वा अक्षितिं स हिदमन्नं धिया धिया जनयते कर्मभिः जद्धि तन्न कुर्यात् क्षीयेतः शूर्णमति प्रतीकेन इति मुखं प्रतीकं मुखेनेत्येतत् स देवानपि गच्छति स ऊर्ध्वमुपजीवति इति प्रशंसम्. The seven kinds of food, the father means here Prajapati, produced by virtue of knowledge and action. He effected this production through his Jnana Sakti and Kriya Sakti. By virtue of his knowledge, he knew that the creation must have something to live upon. He understood that something was essential which might nourish the entire creation and support it. As a result of such understanding and knowledge, he set himself to create that which he thought might support this creation. Hence, this mantra uses the two terms medha and tapa, denoting the above said two processes involved in the production of food. The division or classification of food is given. One food was common for all. Whatever is eaten here, that is the common food. This common food is verily the grains, corns, fruits, and the like, upon which all beings have their sustenance. It's common for all living beings, whether men or animals, all without any exception, eat food and thereby support their physical body. This common food refers to the fruits of actions of every individual. Everyone enjoys the fruits of his actions which he has done in his past lives. In this case, one common law operates on all beings and they enjoy the fruit of their individual actions, referred to here as one common food. This common food, which is the fruit of actions, is responsible for supporting the creation. In this case, all beings without any exception become the enjoyers, and the fruits of their actions become the one common food for their enjoyment. All naturally live upon this enjoyment and cherish these enjoyments more and more. These very enjoyments continue to live and they let live the creation till at last they are completely annihilated by the knowledge of the Supreme, which fact the Upanishads later on declares while dealing on Brahma Vidya in the subsequent chapters. Further, those who apply themselves in enjoying the fruits and cherish a longing to enjoy them more and more, no doubt, maintain their existence as it were. They are never released from evil. It is why it is so because enjoyment nourishes craving and craving produces further enjoyment. And the chain of craving and enjoyment, desire and actions continue. The enjoyer has no scope for final salvation and freedom. The term papa, which means sin or evil, as usual in such context, stands for sense enjoyment, which leads to further recurrence of birth and death. Enjoyment through the senses of their respective objects is common for all beings. Animals also enjoy through their senses. They enjoy pleasure and also suffer pain, as human beings do. Eating, sleeping, fear, and excretion are common in both. Therefore, this mantra states that this food is common to both men and animals. If men who are endowed with these special privileges of discrimination, spiritual advancement, and eventually salvation, also just enjoy everything in common with animals and do not strive hard for spiritual growth or progress, then they would never become free from the evil in the form of birth and death with all their pain and suffering. Next come to two kinds of food provided for the gods. We have observed just now how the gods are constituted of subtle elements, which are subtler than the gross elements, out of which he here Brahma, projected the other grosser type of creation. Gods are shining ones. They do not have physical bodies as human beings. Animals and others have. They do not enjoy anything through their sense organs. Still, they partake of their enjoyments of every being. It is said sometimes that these gods do not eat through their mouth anything gross as we do. Then, how do they live? Still, they partake of the enjoyments of every being. It is said sometimes that these gods do not eat through their mouth anything gross as we do, but are satisfied by merely looking at them. It is an age-old belief which is current even to this date that gods live in the heaven which is full of pleasure while they eat and enjoy what is offered to them in the sacrifice. The subtle essence of the gross offerings reaches them. Sometimes, when invoked, they come to the place of sacrifice and partake their share, of course, only the subtler essence of what is offered to them. There is another view that the gods reside in the body itself, being the guardian deities of the individual organs. For example, hands have as their presiding and guardian deity Indra. Whatever enjoyment is acquired by the hands goes to its deity Indra. Likewise, all the other organs also have got their individual guardian deities who become the enjoyers of actions done by the respective organs. Hence, it is said that these gods are supported or rather maintained by the different organs. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Now, therefore, it is not correct to say that merely by making offering of the milk in fire or for full year one overcomes death. The statement should not be understood in its literal sense. He who knows its implication, the truth about food that brings about immortality, becomes identical with the Creator and thus overcomes death. For he offers all eatable foods to the gods. He doesn't consume to satisfy the cravings of his sense organs like the animals and the ignorant. Now the question is, why and how these foods do not get exhausted, even though they are being constantly consumed by men, animals, gods, and the Creator Himself. Anything that is consumed must come to an end. This should have happened in the case of these foods also. The answer is that this man is verily the cause for its inexhaustibility. It's like this: the impression of all experiences, pleasurable and miserable, are embedded in each individual in the chitta. The subconscious and unconscious levels of the mind. Owing to the force of stimuli, either from within or from without, these impressions rise up to the conscious level, expand and express themselves as speech and actions, and give rise to further experiences. The individual mind is a storehouse of impressions, predispositions, and predilections, even at the time of its birth, within a physical frame. While enjoying the objects of senses during the life in one particular body, it gains many more impressions, and these are added to the store which has inherited right through all its past lives. So long as these impressions are there, the individual will be bound to add many more to their store. Every sense experience leaves back in the subconscious mind or unconscious mind a specific impression. The memory of a particular sense experience springs from that impression which has thus been formed. Just as a seed gives rise to a tree, and a tree in turn brings forth seeds, even so, an impression gives rise to a craving, and a craving in turn results in a fresh impression. A craving first results in enjoyment. The enjoyment produces an experience in the mind. That experience forms an impression, and that impression in turn causes again the craving for further enjoyment. Thus, there is the cyclic chain of cause and effect. Hence, this inexhaustibility of food is explained with the help of the analogy of seed and tree. Even though the individual dies, this so called inexhaustibility of food continues. The unfulfilled desires in the form of thoughts and impressions of actions and enjoyments follow the individual even after death. These are the variable upadhis that accompany the individual after death. They are variable. They are variable because the individual carries different kinds of sense impressions each time when he dies. In different incarnations, he stores up innumerable sense impressions by virtue of his ceaseless experiences. These are the permanent upadhis that accompany the individual after death. They are the five Gyanendriyas, five Karmendriyas, five Pranas, the fourfold mind constituting the astral body, and the Karana Sharira, which is the support for this astral body. In this way, the individual creates new venues of experience every time. In every incarnation, maintains the inexhaustibility of his experiences, which are responsible for the continuity of his individuality. Therefore, this text of this Upanishad here says that the Creator produces this food through understanding and through works. If the impression of the sense enjoyments are obliterated by the acquisition of Brahmagyan, the knowledge of Brahman, then the food on which the individuality is maintained would be exhausted, completely annihilated. Now, we should look upon the eating as mentioned. He eats the food through this mouth. The term mouth is to be taken here in the sense of all organs and of perception and experience. Just as one eats the ordinary food through one's mouth, even so one experiences the different perceptions such as form, sound, smell, and touch through the respective sense organs. All objects are the food of the organs. Hence, here the mouth stands for all organs of sense perception. So, this will be dealt with in the next streaming. Hari Om Tat Sat Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyati Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyati Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you all. Om